They just don't understand what's at stake here. They don't understand suffering.
Dude needs himself a cocktail.
You always do it this good?
Always.
Never tasted anything like it.
80% Arabica for foundation, 10% Costa Rican for fullness and bouquet.
What's the other 10%?
The reason you've never tasted anything like it. Thanks so much for picking me up, Bailey. I hate leaving my car at the airport. 3 murders in the Benton Park West area of St. Louis within 18 days.
2 in the past week. Could be his confidence is on the rise.
Did they preserve last night's crime scene?
Merv Bernstein's the detective in charge. He's taking care of it. Don't worry, it's our plane. Can't leave without us.
Hey, you gonna sleep all day or what?
Mom, I can't find my jeans.
Yeah, well, look on the chair by the bed.
Not on the chair.
Bailey, this is Mike. Mike, this is Bailey.
How you doing, man?
This guy had some kind of moves. Demetrius Pope. Point guard with the Tar Heels, till he blew out his knee. I saw him at the Final Four a few years ago. God, he could have been a star.
He's not going to be a star now. This is a crushed larynx. Based on the linear demarcation across the midline, I'd say a single blow from a relatively blunt object. Tire iron, crowbar. Death was instantaneous.
Still no linkage between the victims.
I've been through Social Security and about 100 other things. None of them has a police record. I mean, except for the location where they were killed, it was coming up blank.
What's wrong, George? You sound lousy.
Must be a bad connection.
You seen a doctor since the accident?
Bailey, I played 18 holes yesterday. I mean, the only thing wrong with me is I can't make a 3-footer. Okay? I'll call you as soon as I get something you can use. Bye.
I have John Grant checking the area for witnesses. He's looking at the shelters, abandoned buildings.
Witnesses. This part of town has got a better chance of finding uranium. Waitress in her 40s, med student, he was 26, both white. Now this kid, robbery wasn't the motive. So is he killing just to get his rocks off?
I don't know why he's doing it, Merv. Serial killers don't usually cross racial lines. How's Gloria?
I'd have to ask her attorney.
No.
29 years.
I'm sorry, Merv.
What does it mean? I'm in a swell apartment, free brunch on Sundays. My son is in the Amazon hugging trees. My daughter drives a Harley. Things couldn't be better.
This newspaper guy was killed by blunt force to the throat. The waitress was killed by a puncture wound to the ear that penetrated the brain. Then med student by blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Emmy pulled out wood chips from her hair and scalp,
Weapons of opportunity?
which he used to inflict only one wound.
What does that tell you?
He probably knows about anatomy.
Smack someone in the head with a 2x4. How much anatomy do you have to know?
But the med student was killed during the day in a relatively crowded place. Maybe there's no witnesses because the killer blends in with the environment. He becomes invisible. Last night I was thinking about Quantico. You, me, roasted goat, goose.
Youngest kid couldn't have been more than 6. When Child Protective Services took them away, he asked me if he'd be able to stay with his brother and sister. I lied to him.
When he was little, he always used to cry when I left him at school. He wanted to be with me.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Pope. Do you know anyone who'd want to do this? Was he involved in any activities that could have put him in danger?
He was a good boy.
We're trying to establish motive.
What you mean is why it was his fault. Why he deserved to die.
No, ma'am.
My son had dreams of glory that never came true. But he took his disappointments like a man. What happened to him makes no sense. And don't you dare say that he did things to deserve it. Don't you dare. Where is his ring? Did you people take it?
There's no mention of a ring.
They were national champions. He always wore that ring.
I faxed the description of the ring to local pawn shops and dealers. The killer might be trying to turn it into cash.
This is not about money.
The last victim had no money on him, but we don't know whether he was carrying any in the first place. The waitress went out for a smoke, left her tips inside. The med student's a med student. He was broke.
A ring like that is worth something. I like to cover all our bases.
Murph said that the number of homeless in Benton Park has doubled in the last 5 years.
The victims weren't homeless.
No, but the killer might be. Maybe that's why we can't find a witness. Homeless are part of the landscape. He can move around without being noticed.
It's all the more reason for him to take the ring. Sooner or later, he's going to need the money. He's escalating. The last 2 murders came twice as fast as the first. What's his trigger?
Could be mentally ill, schizophrenic.
Most schizophrenics aren't prone to violence.
So, what triggers him?
I'm gonna go get a better sense of the neighborhood.
I'll have a uniform go with you.
No, thanks, Murph, but the last thing I need is to draw attention.
Then plain clothes, please. Make an old man happy. 8 pawn shops within the kill zone. We're doing a follow-up right now.
I'll get with your people.
Any chance of you patching it up with Gloria?
Hey, she left me after 29 years. I wouldn't patch it up for all the tea in China. If you could crawl on broken glass, I wouldn't patch it up.
Call him, Merv. Those Sunday brunches can get lonely.
Bailey, it's me. Maybe the killer has a military background. He's efficient, he uses weapons of opportunity. He might be trained for that. Could be targeting this 10-block area as a way to establish or protect what he feels is his own territory. Yeah, I'm on my way back.
The condition of anonymity revealed that shoddy construction were the cause of the collapse of the building that killed 23 people. Men, women, children, cause of the bad construction. Taxi! Where to?
Newbury Park.
Cuss you, Franklin.
Fine, just open the door.
In the proposal to increase the minimum wage, the House of Representatives made it today that on both sides. You got 1 second to get out of the way, or I'm going to run you over. Demanding reforms. At times, the debate reminded them of a daytime reality show, and they were right. Economic impact of such a move to a backseat of partisan politics. Partisan politics. They just cost me a Franklin.
I'd say death was caused by a very bad headache. The nasal cartilage is jammed into his brain.
No weapon.
I don't think so, based on the lack of subdural abrasion.
So he used his fist?
Fist, palm, elbow.
Where are we on the military?
George is working on it.
Do you think he learned about violence in boot camp, or as a result of being married? My counselor says I shouldn't bottle up my feelings.
Malone.
I wish I had better news. I narrowed the search to males aged 20 to 50 with a military record, living or working within 5 miles of Benton Park West, and we're still talking thousands.
Highlight the ones with a history of mental problems or violent behavior, and make a second grouping of those with financial difficulties, broken marriages, a lot of stress.
Okay, great. I've already started something like that.
You sound better, Georgie.
Yeah, I changed headsets and bought a book on putting. Talk to you later.
Come bearing gifts. Gift, actually. From Monty's pawn shop on East Grand. You gotta love their motto. Cash for stuff. Made General Norman Schwarzkopf. That's how he signed the ticket. When he pawned this. North Carolina. Engraved initials DP.
Demetrius Pope. 10 to 1 this guy served in Desert Storm in the Schwarzkopf.
You were right about him turning the ring in for cash. But then he took the bread and did some impulse buying.
Up to now, he's used weapons of opportunity.
Maybe he's tired of improvising. Wants to plan his next attack.
Nothing about the killing seems to have been planned. Not the choice of victims, not the weapons.
Agent Grant?
Excuse me.
Go back to the part where he puts the knife in his pocket. Yeah, right there, stop. There's a name on his jacket, but I can't read it.
Assuming it's his, could have gotten the jacket from a surplus store or a shelter.
Let's get this to George.
I can have it sent over the T-line.
Put his description on the air, double up foot patrols in the area, and have a unit check out all the shelters for this guy.
I know there are no guarantees in life. All this kid wants is to stay with his brother and sister, and with very little effort, you can make that happen. Okay, with a lot of effort. But all these kids have is each other. Yeah, get back to me. Schmuck.
Almost forgot. Cole, Mike, at your apartment? After what happened between us at Quantico, I know you work fast, but...
Nothing happened between us in Quantico. You always read other people's phone messages?
Helps fight the tedium. I bore easily.
Well, there's one thing we agree on. Maybe the killings haven't been so much about anger as fear. Maybe he wasn't trying to establish his territory. He might be trying to protect himself from his victims because he's afraid of them.
An ex-military man afraid of a 93-pound waitress.
What if she's not a 93-pound waitress to him? But let's say he's battling some sort of psychosis, or he's tormented by his nightmares. He might be mistaking his victims for other people in his past.
Like who?
Well, the victims come from all walks of life. So does the military. Maybe they're reminding him of people that abused him when he was in the service.
Well, when I was in the service, we had a distinct shortage of 93-pound drill sergeants.
Well, the power to abuse has nothing to do with size and everything to do with rank.
George was able to make out the first two letters on the guy's name tag. H-A. It narrows it down, but there's still a lot of possibilities to run through. If the jacket's his.
Oh, you are full of it, Kevin. Hey, what's a babe like her gonna look at you for?
Hey, shut up. Check it out. You want to take him?
Take him for what?
Laughs.
Hey!
Cool knife, man. Use it or lose it.
H-A-N-L-E-Y.
Saw him buy the knife. Why didn't he use it?
Neck was twisted like a pretzel. Probably grabbed from the back or from the side. One quick snap from someone who definitely knew what he was doing.
Maybe I should go back to Vice. I could keep regular hours.
John. Stanley.
Hey! There he goes! Carmichael, it's valet! Hey!
Give me your arm!
Hey, guys. How you doing? Come here.
I had a bad dream last night.
You did? What about it?
I forgot, but I came upstairs and you weren't there.
Well, I'll be there from now on, okay? Huh? Hey, why don't you guys go outside, wait in the car. I'll be out in a second. We'll play catch after school, right? Come here. Come here. Go ahead. Get out of here.
Hey, kisses.
I'm not going through this anymore. Call them. You have to get help.
Nancy.
You're having blackouts again. You have to see the doctors.
I can't.
Why not?
Because I think they're the ones who did this to me.
Oh, honey, no. No. They would never do anything to hurt you. Really. Really, you're confused. Otherwise, you'd never even think of that.
Okay.
How long do these blackouts last?
I don't know. I come out of them and then I wind up places that I don't know how I got there. I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call the doctors and we're gonna...
No. Promise me. Nancy, please. You have to promise me.
What?
Promise me that you won't call them.
Chris, I want you to be all right.
I'm gonna be all right. Please.
Okay, I do.
Okay?
I do.
You promise?
Yes, I promise you, sweetie. I promise, honey. It's okay. I promise. I promise.
Okay. Okay. You'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah. You'll be okay. Hey, they went away before. They go away again. Okay?
You know what? I could take the kids. I could come right back.
Honey, go to work. All right, I'm gonna sleep most of the day anyway. What do you think?
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
How are we supposed to compete? It's not a marketplace where students can't even read English. Japan Public High School.
Can't get a word in with this guy. He must know Gloria.
Have you called her?
What are you hawking me? I enjoy brunch alone.
His name's Benjamin R. Hanley, 38, no permanent address, served in the Army, PFC, 88 through 92.
Desert Storm?
6th Battalion, got an early discharge for medical reasons. History of mental problems dating back to childhood. His old man locked him in the attic for weeks on end, in addition to other quirky behavior.
I don't think he's the killer.
He's the guy from the tape.
I didn't recognize him because there was no sound on the tape. But I saw him yesterday, a block from where Pope was killed. He was ranting then, too. He could never move through the city unnoticed.
But your guy said Hanley's a Gulf War vet with combat training. You're a efficient killer.
The killer was able to get close enough to his victims without arousing concern. They were dead before they knew what hit him. Hanley, he's a car alarm going off. You wouldn't let him anywhere near you. I didn't.
He had the ring.
He could have picked it up after the victim was dead.
I'm supposed to believe the killer was following Hanley around? They were in close proximity to at least 2 of the crime scenes.
We're only talking about a 10-block area. Maybe the killer is not homeless. Maybe he's one of the businessmen that work in the area.
America is fast becoming a third-rate educational power. And if this trend is not reversed, your preeminence in technological power will be over.
I like him. May cost me my hearing, but I'm not done with him.
The killer could be living part of his life in an altered state. In pieces, fractured episodes he isn't even aware of.
What, hallucinations? He could have had them all his life. The military could have had nothing to do with it.
Or he could have been fully functional, without any signs of psychosis, until something traumatic happened to him in the military. Seeing his buddies blown away, or running away from combat.
That would tend to make him passive and withdrawn, or killer's aggressive.
Might have been in special ops. Took part in some kind of My Lai incident. Guilt converted into rage.
He could think that his victims know about his guilt, and that's how he's picking them. Rage converted into paranoia. I'm sorry I had to run out on your mic. Tell Mom and Dad that I'll come later. What?
Why didn't you tell me Mike's your brother?
Because you took one look at him and you formed an opinion? If you walked into John's apartment and he was bouncing some babe off the wall, you would have said, "Atta boy, bada bing."
I stopped using bada bing years ago. Malone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There is no shortage of psychologically damaged vets out there. But I got something I think is going to narrow the list.
Wait a minute, George. Let me put you on the box.
Okay, during the Gulf War, Allied bombers struck frontline Iraqi bunkers just as our troops were advancing on them, and some of those bunkers contained a witch's brew of biological weapons.
Our troops were exposed to it?
Yeah. 6th Battalion ran across some chemical agents they had never seen before. The Pentagon obviously is trying to keep a lid on it, but my guesstimate is that 3,000 to 5,000 of our guys were exposed.
What were the symptoms?
In some cases, severe hallucinations, delusions, stuff that required long-term treatment, and in others, there was a delayed effect, months, even years.
Hanley was in the 6th Battalion.
So were 1,000 other guys.
George, of the list you've already compiled, can you tell how many 6th Battalion vets are living in the area?
I can't find this mouse. Hand me that stethoscope, will you? Thanks. Will you say R, please? R. Okay. R. Okay. R. R. It is. Hand me the thread.
Child Protective Services. Those kids would have been better off if I never made that call.
George identified 11 vets who live within a 50-mile radius of Greater St. Louis. Guys from the 6th Battalion who were exposed to chemical weapons in Iraq.
I'll have units sent to all the locations. Get me a dispatch. I want 11 cars ready to move.
Honey? Chris? Oh, God. Hello, I need to talk to Dr. Harris. It's about my husband, Christopher Langston. He was a lieutenant in the 6th Battalion. No, he can't call me back. I have to talk to him now. It's an emergency. Please, I have to speak with him, okay? Yes, Colonel Weston. I understand. I think the trouble is that the patient is aware of the experiments. The program's integrity must be protected at all costs. I see. Yes, Doctor. We'll eliminate the problem. I'll try to bring him in this afternoon. Please, I was just trying to help you.
You're trying to help me, Doc? You were trying to help me? Doctor, you know what? That's getting a little old. I trusted you. We all trusted you. And what you did was wrong. No, it was wrong. There were hundreds of us, and we were loyal. And you took that loyalty and you spit it back in our faces. We volunteered because we thought it was our duty to help our fellow soldiers. All this for the long-term betterment of the United States military. Well, vaccine my ass. This didn't have anything to do with any vaccine. You used us and you tried to forget about us when you were done. You betrayed us. Oh, I know. You were following your orders, right? Well, guess what? We were all following orders. Now, I'm gonna take you back to that site of that betrayal. And when the colonel comes back from patrol, I'm gonna use you to make him admit the truth. And then I'm gonna kill you both. Now move.
So of the original 11, we've accounted for 5.
Ted Fiorito was killed in a shootout with police in June of '96. He went berserk in a convenience store and shot 2 people before he was taken down. And Richardson has spent the last 2 years confined to a VA hospital. Episodes of extreme disorientation and delirium.
And all of these guys were exposed to chemicals in Desert Storm.
They were in the 6th Battalion.
Do any of them have a history of spousal abuse or other domestic violence? George?
Yeah, I'm bringing up the data. Okay, last June, Steve Boyer was arrested for pushing his wife down a flight of stairs. And 3 years ago, Chris Langston was questioned by police for battering his own car with a shovel.
Both these guys live within the zone?
Langston in Newbury Park, Boyer in East Dayton.
We got a hostage situation. Guy holding his wife at knife point.
What's the location?
East Grand and Taylor. Security guard found a car outside, registered to Christopher Langston.
We have containment.
Yes, sir. All the exits are barricaded and wired. They can't get out. They're in the basement.
Eyes and ears.
We've got induction mics on the first floor.
Telephone?
Negative, but we've got a sniper moving into position. The place is a mess. He's having a tough time lining up a shot.
What, do you think you were gonna get some kind of promotion? Huh? Is that what this was to you? Building a life while destroying others? Doesn't sound very Hippocratic to me. Does it sound very Hippocratic to you? Doctor? Huh? I mean, what kind of soldier?
Where's the entrance to the basement?
Freight elevator.
You left us to drive.
Connect this cabin.
I've established position, but the shot is minimal.
The hostage's tied up in a chair. Langston's pacing around. I can't tell what's across my sight.
Is the hostage in immediate danger?
Repeat, sir.
This all for yourself.
Is the hostage in danger?
Not just to me.
Cameron.
But to all of us. They're screwing with me. They think they can wait me out? He's gonna show. He's gonna show. I know he's gonna show. You know what? You better damn well pray he shows up. Because I want him to look me in the eye and tell me the truth.
We've lost communication with the sniper.
Is it yours?
Who's he talking about?
The colonel?
He said something about a colonel.
I want the truth about
But he didn't mention a name.
and why you did what you did to us.
He's looking for authority.
What's commanding officer?
George, we need the name of the colonel in command of Langston's unit in the 6th Battalion. And as much background on Langston as you can find.
What is taking him so long? I get it. He must consider you indispensable, too. Kind of like we were. Right, Doc? I mean, I wonder if your conscience ever bothers you. You know, if you lie awake at night thinking of all the lives you ruined. See what happens when you follow orders, Doc.
All right. Sir, my earphone's dead.
I'm gonna talk him through this. But if he makes a threatening move to the hostage, take him out.
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant. Colonel Weston. You wanted me here. I'm here.
Then you know why I wanted you here.
You've got a hostage.
She's fine. For the moment. Whether she stays that way is up to you.
What do you need from me?
The truth.
About what?
Don't play games with me. You know exactly what I want. You stay right there. I want the truth about what you did to me. About what you did to all of us.
That information is classified.
That's just your way of hiding the truth. You know what? No more. I want the truth and I want the whole world to know about it.
Lieutenant,
Don't you lieutenant me!
I said stand down! Listen to me.
You know what? I'm not under your command anymore, Weston, okay?
That's right. That's right, you're not.
Yeah, that's right. You're damn right. I'm not your command anymore. Do you have snipers out there? How many? How many? Wow. You just want to pick me up.
Let her go, and we can all walk out of here.
I admired you. I worshipped you. We all worshipped you, you hypocritical bastard.
That's correct, Lieutenant. There was hypocrisy.
I'm George, Dusty Langston. His father was career Army, a hero in Vietnam. Check this out.
These are key.
Didn't we mean anything to you? Huh? You said, "You're my boys!" Well, you sacrificed your boys. You sacrificed us.
Bailey. Langston was a scout. He was ROTC. Everything about him has been about service and honor. Sacrifice. He needs to know that his wasn't in vain.
Lieutenant, I want to talk to you. I have something to tell you you've been waiting to hear for a long time. May I approach?
Yeah.
You all right, man?
You talk to me.
Let her go first.
You've got a division up there. She's all I've got. She stays until I say so.
What I'm about to tell you is highly classified. But you're a good soldier, and you deserve to know.
Okay.
You were an unwitting participant in a medical experiment. The side effects of which weren't known at the time. But your sacrifice saved lives. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Your heroism, which has had to remain secret all these years, is just as selfless as that of the men and women who gave their lives in combat. There are families all over America who wouldn't have husbands and fathers if it weren't for you.
Why didn't they tell us, sir?
I don't know, son. Let her go. Let her go.
Yes, sir.
They said you wanted to see me.
pick you up at 11. Me too. Bailey. Gloria and I are having brunch on Sunday.
I'm glad, Merv.
I figured, what the hell? It's included in the rent.
What now?
George did some digging. Chris Langston never served in Desert Storm. He was stateside the entire time he was in the Army.